Welcome to the video series where we will discuss autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD. We will discuss what is autism, the types of autism, and the causes of autism throughout these video series. Let's begin. What is autism? Autism is a group of complex developmental disorders. This includes things like nonverbal and verbal communication, social interaction, and behavioral problems. The definition and understanding of autism has been developing since the 1900s. In the early 1900s, Swiss psychiatrist Eugen Müller used autism to describe schizophrenic patients who seemed unsociable. Then, starting in the 1940s, an American psychiatrist, Leo Kanner, discovered through the children he studied that these children were intelligent but wanted to be alone and had a strong desire for routine. This was known as early infantile autism. A year later, after Kanner's studies, Hans Asperger, no, not Hans from Frozen, described Kanner's discovery as Asperger's syndrome. Then we come to the 1960s to 2013. In the 1960s, autism was distinguished from schizophrenia. However, the understanding of autism spectrum disorder did not come until around the 1970s. This was mainly because researchers suspected autism was mostly genetics and had differences in brain development. So it was not until the 1990s and early 2000s when people became more aware of ASD as schools provided programs to help students with their diagnosis. Finally, in 2013, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, also known as DSM, combined all the symptoms of autism into one general umbrella, autism spectrum disorder. As different physicians saw patients with ASD, they diagnosed the patients with different disorders that fell underneath the category of ASD. It was discovered that patients with autism have two very common things: difficulty communicating and engaged in repetitive gestures. You can clearly see how the diagnosis of autism has been developed over the past 100 years. So, what do we know about autism now? Well, in 2020, the CDC approximated that 1 in 54 children are diagnosed with autism, boys being 4 times more likely to be diagnosed than girls. So 1 in 34 boys and 1 in 144 girls are diagnosed with autism each year. As mentioned in the history, patients with ASD have difficulty communicating and interacting with others. They also have a lot of repetitive motion, have difficulty maintaining eye contact, and have the need for routine. ASD patients also repeat words or sounds that they hear. So, what did we learn? In this video, we discussed the definition of autism, the history of autism, common characteristics, and its demographics. In the next video, we will discuss the different types of autism and how they fit underneath the ASD umbrella. Hope to see you then!